So we are moving past week 13 in the NFL. The race to Super Bowl 60 looks wide open. Phoebe Schecter, Jason Bell. Phoebe, we're always told to expect the unexpected in the NFL, but this season just seems weird, crazy, and entertaining.
I know. I think if we look back to the beginning of the season and think about all the things that maybe all of us had predicted, I'm dragging you all down with me on this, to be very clear.
Good.
You just flip that completely on its head, because the parity that the NFL delivers, the scheduling, all of this, it makes it phenomenal because it's anybody's game any given Sunday.
We're going to go through some of the unfancied teams. To Phoebe's point, at the start of the year, did we expect these teams to do what they are doing? We'll start with the New England Patriots. Last season, they were one game away at the end of the year from having the first pick in the draft, the worst team in the NFL. Here they are now, the number one seed in the American Football Conference, the AFC. They've got 10 wins as they head into Monday Night Football against the New York Giants.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel's a straight-up gangster.
Yeah.
Like, he came in and he was like, this is who we are, this is our identity. And Drake May. Who would have thought Drake May would be playing at this level? Josh McDaniels did. His offensive play call.
That's the key, isn't it? The connection
Huge, right? You don't go out. If you're Mike Vrabel, you get this job. Usually, you have to try to figure out what offensive coordinator out there, because most of the best ones, they got a job. So you're taking a guy who is maybe his first time calling plays, but no, you get your buddy back in the building. And he wasn't even necessarily the first pick or a guarantee, right? That had to be an agreement on how this is going to look. But him coming in there, you see Josh McDaniels has given Drake May all the answers.
The Denver Broncos, last year, first round of the playoffs, lost to the Buffalo Bills. So they've made progress this year to the point where they've taken control of a division that has belonged to the Kansas City Chiefs for a decade.
And I think some of that is definitely to give credit to the Broncos, not to take away from that. Some of that is definitely the AFC West was kind of one of the most competitive early on. The Chiefs have not lived up to their own expectations. The Chargers had some high moments. The Raiders are still figuring out their footing a little bit. But you're right. To your point, the Broncos, I mean, you had Defensive Player of the Year last year in Pat Surtain. You've only strengthened your defense. And now Bo Nix, another year under the belt of, or alongside Sean Payton. And the way that they've kind of found answers to those tests, Sean Payton is also a big competitor. And he's making sure that he's kind of pulling the strings there for Bo Nix.
Talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you think about last season, the Jags had just 4 wins, fired Doug Peterson. I went there in the summer and it's another new dawn. They've had a lot of new dawns in Jacksonville, but they're 8-4 now. Liam Cohen, their first-year head coach, has them top now of the AFC South. It's not always pretty, but they find ways to win, and they've already doubled their win total from a year ago.
Yeah, Liam Cohen, I like his play design, especially in the run game. He was doing this at Tampa. And what can Jacksonville do? They can run the rock, man. They can find a way. Obviously, it's all about, in the tough situational football, how your quarterback performs. But Liam Cohen is doing a good job with Trevor Lawrence. And this defense, man, they find opportunities. So it's a good balance, man. They bail the offense out when they need to. And Liam Cohen, man, you see why he got the job.
The Buffalo Bills got back on track in Week 13, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they're flirting right on the very edge of the playoff picture in the AFC. There is a scenario potentially where the big three, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, could miss the playoffs. Phoebe, specifically Baltimore and the Chiefs, they seem to be in the most trouble right now.
They do. I mean, you look at the Chiefs, for example, who were winning those one-score games last year and now are losing those close one-score games this year. They've had a lot of other issues as well. But then you look at the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I mean, they are not living up to their expectations. Offensively, they're not being able to put together plays. And Lamar Jackson has always been your best athlete on the field. And right now, he's not healthy enough to be able to deliver that or run the ball like he used to.
Over in the NFC, let's talk about the NFC then. The Chicago Bears. We've just gone through Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving Day last year, the Bears fired head coach Matt Eberflus. They were at rock bottom. They hired Ben Johnson away from the Detroit Lions. Now here they are. They've won 9 of their last 10, 9 wins, 3 losses. They're the number 1 ranked team in the NFC.
Okay, let's talk about this. Ben Johnson, everybody wanted him. right? New kid on the block. I mean, he's making it happen. But when we talk about these teams that are winning, what can they do? They can run the ball.
Yeah.
What can the Bears do? I mean, I know you got Caleb Williams, and trust me, he is balling. He's making every throw. But they run the rock.
Right.
That's what they do. And on defense, what else? Even if it's not right, what they get? Turnovers.
Yeah, so
It's the
change
formula.
games. Yeah.
This is what we're seeing around the league with successful teams.
They had more than 280 rushing yards against the Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday, to your point. So they are built for these. Well, Ben Johnson said when we were out there, and Ben Johnson in his press conference said, we're going to run the football because we're in a black and blue division, the NFC North, and the weather gets bad at the end of the year.
And that's what you have to do. You look at November, December, you want to be a playoff team, you have to be able to run the football because you're also looking at these teams that play outdoors, specifically in that division. And that is not easy living if you're relying solely on the pass. And then you're hoping your defense steps up and gets those tips and overthrows and interceptions that do happen that time of year.
We can make a case for Seattle being the best team in the NFL, certainly one of them.
Yeah, you could.
They had 10 wins last year. So is it a surprise that they're 9-3, or is this just the natural progression for them?
I mean, I'm surprised, they got a new quarterback. You didn't know how that was going to work out. So I think everybody's kind of surprised because you're like, what does this look like? But my goodness, this defense. They keep getting better. Your head coach is a defensive guy. It makes sense. But offensively, what Sam Darnold has done with JSN, man, they are so explosive in the passing game. This is what he did in Minnesota. He's brought it over there. They can get chunk plays in an instant, and that's deadly.
The Carolina Panthers went through a rough patch last year. Bryce Young got benched. Andy Dalton replaced him. Then they finished strong at the back end of last year. Dave Canales, the head coach, had them been going in the right direction. Now the Panthers are 7-6. A big win in Week 13 against the Rams. And they've matched the win total of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are 7-5. So the Panthers have positioned themselves to make a playoff charge down the stretch. I'm not sure we saw that coming, even with the positive end from last year.
No, I would suggest we didn't see that coming. And even early on in the season, it took them a little bit of time to be able to get that momentum going. But to see what this team has done, I mean, they could potentially win the division if you look at them carrying out from the NFC South, which coming into the season, everyone thought it was a shoo-in for Baker Mayfield had MVP chance about him. And now Bryce Young and what he's been able to do and that defense, J.C. Horn being such a big part of that. I mean, this is an exciting mix, and they've got a pretty easy schedule going forward.
Well, what do? Rico Dowdle's had a couple of 200-yard rushing days for this team. They turn the ball over. It's that formula again.
That's it. That's how it works. They're just inconsistent, right? They give you these little bit of hope. You're like, oh, my gosh. It's like, oh, gosh, we're good. And then next week, you're like, bro, what are you doing,
So what we've established is you'll spend months talking about the NFL in the offseason and really don't know until they start.
It's the beauty of the game. It's why we watch every single week. You don't know what's going to happen down to down.
Right.
So, of course, you have everybody sits down, looks at the roster, figures out who's going to be good, where. Play the game.
Right.
Play the game, then we'll see.
So we've established it's going to be a fun journey towards Super Bowl 60, but we don't know who's going to be in it.